Hey everybody, this is Reemay here, Reemay World Fitness channel. Everybody, today we are in a stadium on main Claremont. The gentleman standing next to me, no introduction whatsoever, Shameen Adams, South African legendary bodybuilder. I feel completely honored just being in his presence. Why? Because back in the days, everybody, for those of you who don't know, I used to do bodybuilding on a very, very low scale, not like this man here next to me. Anyway, long story short, we are here today, everybody, to speak about a very profound topic, bodybuilding. Bodybuilding in such a manner where a lot of people has a misconception, misunderstand, but also there's a lot of admirers and how the sport has grown over the years. Shameen Adams, welcome, thank you. How are you today, sir?
Reemay, once again, thank you. Thanks for having me on your show, and welcome here at X Body Fitness. I'm very well. Hope you're doing well yourself.
I'm good, thank you. I'm blown away just being in your presence again, like I said. Shameen, I think one of the most simplest questions, one would probably always ask you, how did this all get, to where you are today? Where did you start? Where do you come from, basically? And also, where did you start with bodybuilding?
Well, Reemay, I grew up in Elsie's River.
Okay.
On the Cape Flats.
Yeah.
And I've always been passionate about bodybuilding. And believe it or not, I always idolized Bruce Lee. And I always said I would love to have a physique like that guy.
Bruce Lee?
Okay. And then, back in the day, growing up in a poor community like that, there was no gyms available to us. So I decided to get myself some coffee tins with cement and like a metal bar in between. Here we go, and I made my own weights, and I basically started training in the backyard.
Okay.
I would do my dumbbell curls, I would do my chinnings in a tree, and my push-ups, my sit-ups, and then and then after about 3 months, I decided I'm going to enter my first competition. And I was a very shy guy. Very nervous, very scared, very shy.
Introvert.
There we go.
Shy person, okay.
And my mom always told me, my late mom always told me, Jacob, so come and say, I'll do for the mense. And I looked at her and I thought to myself, what's this woman talking about? This shy guy. And 3 months of training, I stepped on stage, I entered my first competition, won my first competition, and the feeling was great.
Wow.
And it never stopped from there. I just continued.
If I look back today, the first time when I saw you, out of you, met you, you were like already out there. Everybody was speaking about Shameen, and I remember this where I'm a colored, you were colored. There was, I think it was almost like bodybuilding was more back in the day, more for the whites in South Africa specifically. And I remember what I'm referring to is the part where others praise you, all races praise you because of the champ that you were, the quality of muscle you carried, the type of champ you were as a people's person, basically. And I think everybody loved you, as a champion. It must have been like a whole process, obviously getting there, basically. Tell me, I remember there's someone called Nelson Benjamin. I think there was a rumor when people told me that Nelson Benjamin took you under his wings. How did that go about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, definitely Nelson, big respect for that guy. There was another guy called Ralph Pierce.
Okay.
So I walked into, in Elsie's River Ultra, there was a bicycle called Scope. Bicycle, and they converted that into a gym. And I walked into that gym the first day. And I saw Ralph and Nelson train. At the time when I walked into the gym, both of them were Springbok bodybuilders already at the time.
Wow.
And I have never in my life seen guys that big.
Yeah.
You only saw guys like that in magazines, you know.
Yeah.
And when I saw those guys, I went into a corner, I just went to sit there and I just stared at these guys. I couldn't believe my eyes.
Yeah.
And then I started training for about a week.
Okay.
And then Ralph came over to me, he told me, listen, I want you to start training with us. You have the genetics to become a world champion bodybuilder. Wow. And I looked at this guy, I was shocked. I didn't know what to say. You know, I turned around and I thought to myself, maybe he's speaking to somebody else.
Yeah.
He said, no, I'm speaking to you. And I was honored, this guy coming up to me and telling me he wants me to train with him.
Yes.
And without hesitation, I agreed and I started training with him. And it was the best move ever.
Yeah.
Started training with him. After a year of training, I entered the Junior Mr South Africa in Johannesburg. And I won the overall Junior Mr South Africa title.
Wow.
And I never looked back from there. So basically, those are the two people that basically started my bodybuilding career back in the day.
They kind of paved the road for you.
Definitely.
You through a lot of type of guidance and then obviously
For sure.
show you how to discipline, you know, as
Yeah.
you become a... Speaking about bodybuilding today, obviously the sport itself, it's a very disciplined sport. And I mean, the time that you were in your prime, and the time that, you know, the way things were at that time, bodybuilding today compared to how you were at that time, has it changed? What has changed? How's the quality, for example, of the athletes? Do you think, what can maybe be changed for the better in your own understanding when it comes to the sports?
You see, Reemay, back in the day, there was no social media around. There was no like magazines really. So if people wanted to see you, they had to come to the competitions to basically personally see what it's all about. You know? And back in the day, the love, the passion for the sport was much greater than now. You understand? And like I said, with social media around and back then we did it for the love of the sport. We were like a family, all the competitors, you know, we were training. We would be 20 guys training in the same gym. We're very good friends.
Yeah.
You know, a week before the competition, you will come into the gym, we'll greet each other, and we'll just check each other out. On the day of the competition, you battle it out on stage.
Yeah.
After the show, you're all great friends, you're like a family, you go out, you have, you know, dinner together or whatever. But like today, the sport has changed dramatically. And, you know, as time moves on, technology changes, so everything changes, so you've got to move with the changes. But I definitely call that era the golden era. We were much more tighter as a community and closer as athletes, you know, back in the day compared to now. Now, each one is basically to himself. This one won a bad one, that one, that one. Back in the day, you didn't find that. If you wanted to say something to somebody, you go up to him, you tell him to his face, and you know what I mean, you sort it out right there. Yeah. So it's completely different. Back then, which like I said, we called it the golden era. And to me, that was the best era, and up till today, people still say that was the best era of bodybuilding by far.
The best time, basically.
Definitely.
That's amazing. Would you say that, you know, bodybuilding itself, the sport has grown, it has expanded, there's more followers of it, there's more athletes, for example. Do you think, I remember back in the days, there was a lot of people who had a misconception, who didn't like the sport because of you're supposed to look a certain way. Do you think that more people are now fan base or more liking the sport? Or is there still a lot of people who's not really into the sport bodybuilding, but preferably more fitness? If I can ask about it.
You see, Reemay, back like up till today, still people are not educated, you know, on the sport basically. So whether you're a swimmer, a runner, a cyclist, bodybuilder, football player, you have to do weight training for strength and conditioning.
Yes.
You cannot go. A dumbbell squat is a dumbbell squat. A bench press is a bench press.
Yes.
Whether you're a soccer player, rugby player, swimmer, it's just the repetitions is going to differ and the weights are going to differ. You know, it's like a bodybuilder is going to kill 30 kilos. A swimmer is going to kill 5 or 6 kilos.
Yes.
You understand? And I remember back in the day when I was busy prepping for competition, you know, I used to drop down to like 2% body fat, like 2 days prior to world champs. Or, you know? And I remember maybe walking in a shopping mall, you know, with a short and a t-shirt. So obviously, you know, you're very lean and you have a lot of veins popping all over.
And big muscles.
And I still clearly remember people walking, especially females walking past, you know, and when they look at me as if I'm a ghost. And they, you know, their faces like, you know, and I had people come up to me and they asked me, it looks so painful, can I touch it?
Is it normal?
Is it normal, yeah. So people have that misconception that if you train with weights, everybody's going to look like that. my answer always to them is, it's so hard to look like that. Don't worry, you'll never look like that. It's really hard.
You need
a lot of discipline, a lot of
I
consistency.
can only imagine.
Exactly.
You know, through what you're saying, education plays a vital role. And I think a lot of people in general, whether people already into the training, there's still a lot of people who's very uneducated when it comes to training itself.
Yeah.
And I think something that actually that expanded was back in the days, especially females would think if you're going to touch the weights, you're going to create big muscles.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not what you're saying. You literally need to, focus on all types of training, whether you're a swimmer, cricket player, soccer player, for example. There's also strength training involved.
Definitely.
And it's not what you're saying also, just lighter weights.
Lighter weights.
Because of the sport code.
Precisely.
But because of bodybuilding, my understanding is when you're a bodybuilder, you need to look like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Because it's a sport.
Exactly.
One very popular question, I think that you would be the right person, ideal person to basically speak about it. So there's always been the topic steroids.
Mm-hmm.
Steroids in bodybuilding. So my understanding from my side is, for bodybuilders to look a certain way, there has to be steroids involved. Speaking out of collection. Is that a yes or a no?
In the sport of bodybuilding, like the saying goes, the day in the delivery room when you're born, you can see whether you're going to be a top bodybuilder or not.
Okay.
So in the sport of bodybuilding, genetics plays an important role.
Yes.
So if you're somebody with wide shoulders, small midsection, small joints, small ankles, your chances of becoming a top bodybuilder is great. And also, as you know, in the sport, calves plays a very big role in bodybuilding. If you don't, calves are one of those muscle groups that if you don't have it, you don't have it. You can train them till dieting them come you can't, okay? So when people see somebody that's big and like in good shape, first thing that goes to mind, he must be using steroids. But they don't know behind the scenes what happened. They don't know all the food. He eats 7 to 8 meals a day.
Wow.
He basically trains 2 to 3 hours every day. He trains 5 to 6 days a week. So behind the scenes, they don't know the time and the effort that goes in.
Yes.
And eating is important in the sport, So whether you use steroids or not, if you're not training hard enough, if you're not eating properly, it's not going to help you. If you don't have good genetics, you can use all the steroids in the world. It's not going to get you to the top level. So at the end of the day, firstly, genetics plays a big role.
Yes.
Secondly, hard work, discipline, consistency plays a big role as well. So my saying is always, if you wanna, it takes hard work to be rich, and it takes no work to be poor. Same in anything else in life. If you want to be a top athlete, hard work.
Wow.
If you're not going to put in the hard work, you're not going to become a top athlete. In business, you got to put in the hard work. You understand? So at the end of the day, it comes down whether somebody's using steroids or not. If you're not putting in the hard work, if you're not eating the necessary dietary food that you're supposed to eat, your 7-8 chicken breasts a day, your broccoli, your fish, your sweet potatoes and that type of thing, it's gonna do absolutely nothing for you.
Truly amazing. A lot of people still depend on either the supplement or whether it's a steroid to do all the work.
Exactly.
That's the work that you have to
put in.
That's
exactly.
the food that you have to put
Precisely.
in. So there you heard it, everybody. You have to put in the work. So whether you're going to go on your products, for example, it's what you do in the gym, the time that you invest, the sacrifices you make. Straight from, like I said, the horse's mouth, the legend himself, Shameen Adams. So everybody, Shameen is going to take me through a little workout. I want him to make me feel or look like a bodybuilder, even just for a few minutes. So coming back very, very soon, we're just going to go on a break quickly. Coming back very, very soon. When we come back, Shameen and I are going to do some bodybuilding workouts. See you now. Stay tuned. So everybody, for those of you who just tuned in, welcome to the Reemay Fitness channel on TV. We're in Claremont, Stadium on Main, Body Gym, Fitness Gym. So everybody, we're with legend Shameen Adams, South African World Champion, Legend Slayer. I was explaining Legend Slayer, that is, it blows you away. So when it comes to weight category, muscle, quality muscle, this is the man behind everything basically. And once again, I'm being in his presence, truly honored. So as planned, as scheduled, as promised, Shameen's going to take me through a little workout. I promise you I'm going to feel like a bodybuilder maybe just for 2 minutes and 2 seconds, just for today, for once in my life. I really don't care. What's important is the experience that I'm learning today and the education around it. So, Shameen, what are we doing first?
Right, Reemay, we're going to do some dumbbell bicep curls.
Okay.
We're starting off. And as you can see, we're not using heavy weights, we're using moderate weights.
Okay.
And weight that you can handle, because to me, form means everything.
Yes.
We rather go for quality than quantity. Okay.
Awesome.
So basically, we'll start off, get your feet position.
Yeah.
About shoulder width apart, straight.
Okay.
There we go. And then from there, curl up.
Okay.
And down. And remember, when curling up, don't swing your body forward or backward. That is normally when the weight is too heavy. So you don't want to train your lower back and every body down.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want to do the focus on the biceps down. Here we go. So basically, slight bend in the knee just to take the pressure slightly off the lower back.
Yeah.
From there, you curl up, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale.
Okay.
Okay. You want to give it a go?
Please.
Here we go.
Okay. Slight bend.
There we go. Slight bend in the knee. Perfect.
And tell me how many repetitions.
We go in 10 repetitions.
Okay.
We'll do 3 sets of 10 repetitions. Perfect. I like your form. Very good.
Thank you, sir. I feel like a professional already.
You look like a professional, don't worry.
Thank you. I know when I'm done here, I'll be qualified. Okay.
And remember breathing as well. Breathe in and breathe out. Down. Breathing is very important, because if you don't breathe in, breathe out, you will basically get tired very quickly.
Yes.
So breathing is very important. And we don't want somebody to pass out while you train because you're not breathing properly.
Can a person quickly, especially when you do bodybuilding, how quick is it to pick up an injury?
Very quick, because that's why I say form is very important. Don't use a weight that you cannot handle. If I say don't use a weight that you cannot handle, always use a weight where you can do 6 to 7 repetitions comfortably, and the last 3 repetitions you got to basically sort of force squeeze out, and you know that's a proper weight. Don't use a weight where you got to basically struggle from the workout. Then that weight is way too heavy.
I can feel my biceps coming already.
Here we go.
See it?
They look like mountains.
Sure.
Looking good.
Mount Everest.
There we go. Good job.
Okay. And here we go.
Nice. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So, Shameen, I believe you're also a personal trainer. You do personal training as well.
That's right.
At your gym. So tell me, are you full up with clients? Do a lot of people work with you? Do you work with any type of age, gender, basically, or?
To be honest with you, at the beginning, I thought being a bodybuilder, especially women, they sort of like when they see a bodybuilder, they get a bit nervous, But 80% of my clients are females and 20% are males. And I train people, across the board. My oldest client is 66 years old. He's a client with a heart condition. He started with me a year ago, weighing 98 kilos. 98 kilos, and he's weighing 81 kilos now. He's been on about 20 tabs a day. He's on 1 tab a day now. The doctor told him, whatever you are doing, keep on doing it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It literally changed his life.
All the best. So Shameen, tell me quickly what next? My biceps are pretty pumped.
I can see that. But next exercise, we can't just do the bis and not the tris.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do some tricep exercises now.
Awesome.
There we go. Let's go.
Good.
So I mean, you're speaking about, USA, they really helped you in such a big way. And I mean, I've seen how USA at the very beginning, we were really focused on bodybuilding only, but I've seen the transition of the trends to lifestyle, sports, athletes as well. Simple question, is the support for bodybuilding still the same good as how much?
Definitely not. It's not like it used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
And especially post-COVID now, I think everybody's a bit scared and nervous, to invest their money in anything, because you don't know which pandemic is going to hit us next. So everybody's a bit nervous where that is concerned.
Wow.
You understand? And definitely the support back in the day was much better. I mean, I had my own show, the Shameen Classic, running for about 16 years. And I had great sponsors. USN was always like my biggest
Yeah.
sponsor,
Yeah.
at the show. And I don't know if I'm ever going to have a Shameen Classic again, because you cannot have a show without sponsors.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want sleepless nights basically thinking about how am I going to pay for the venue and the
Yes.
trophies and the, everything. Exactly. So it's scary times, what I mean. So the support for the sport is not like it used to be back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yes.
It was, like I said, where USN came in with myself, where, they started sponsoring me and Albie took care of me, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to compete on the international stage and
Yeah.
get recognition.
Yes,
And,
yes. Wow.
So it's basically, I'm grateful and thankful to Albie Geldenhuys and USN for
Yeah.
what they have done and
Yes.
still doing for me.
That's
Really.
awesome. But I mean, all the best with USN especially, I see that they are still very much out there, they're big, they're still massive, one of the biggest and popular, strongest supplement companies
Yeah,
to focus on health and fitness in different aspects.
definitely.
Really big up for them. So tell me currently, I know you mentioned that you're not competing, anymore, also because, time has moved on. Do you ever think of maybe going back?
Man, I mentioned to my wife the other day, I would like to step on stage sometime again. But she just gave me one look and like almost like to say, been there, done that, you know what I mean? But what I still love, I train every day as if I'm going to step on stage tomorrow. So people still like seeing me at doing guest appearance and opening acts at shows and stuff like that. Because I'm a performer on stage. I love performing.
Awesome.
And so I still keep it up, and now and then I'll do an opening act here and there at the competition.
So tell me, Shameen, how important is it to train your calves when you're a bodybuilder?
It's very important. I would say minimum twice a week, and I train my calves about 45 minutes to an hour just calves per session.
Sure, I feel that.
Can you feel it?
Feel it.
There we go. They look like mountains now. There we go.
So there's this saying that speaks about with some guys, the Johnny Bravos.
Yeah.
Those guys are everywhere.
Yeah.
Those are guys that's it's almost like either they're lazy to train their calves, or they just don't have the genetics.
Yeah.
Do you still think? I remember back in the days also, guys would always focus on just the upper
Body, arms, chest.
For example, even.
Yeah, you'll find them in the heart of summer. They go topless at Camps Bay with the thick jeans
Ah.
and the big high tops.
Is it still like that? Do you still find them?
Yeah, no, you still find them.
Okay, guys.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
But I suppose once again it comes down to the education,
Yeah.
the education around why you need to train the whole body as well.
Precisely.
So in my experience of being a qualified personal trainer, I understand the importance of why your whole body requires attention
Exactly.
all the time.
Yeah.
Because of health factors.
Precisely.
Uh,
And also besides the training and the nutrition, how resting, sleeping is important.
Yes.
That's when you grow and recover. Now people don't understand that.
Yes.
People think when you train, when you curl, they think, oh, I'm growing. No, you're breaking down the muscle there.
Yes.
So they think with the pump they get, they think that's it's the blood basically pumping through the muscle. And when they rest and sleep, that's when they grow and recovery takes place.
When you were in your prime training hard for competition, or let's just say just in general, how was your sleeping? How many do you sleep longer? Do you go sleep earlier, for example, at night?
Up till today, I'm still like that. I would be, like for example, now I'll be in bed between 7:30, 8:15.
Wow.
But I get up 3:30 every morning.
Oh, that's why.
You understand? Yeah.
Shameen, thank you for all your time. Thank you for all the knowledge, the experience today. I want to wish you just all the best with the rest of your journey, your growth, your career with USN, the bodybuilding, personal training. In your own words, just for the camera, where can people find you, and also maybe a little motivational quote, just something to send the people, on the journey, and not to forget that you need to train properly. In your own words, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Firstly, thank you, Reemay, for having me here today. And I hope I was basically could educate the people out there. They learned something from me today. You can find me, Shameen Adams, on Instagram, Facebook, just Shameen Adams as well. And a little message to everybody out there: stay focused, stay disciplined, always respect the elderly and stay humble, and you will get to the top. Thank you.
There you go, everybody. Stay humble, stay disciplined, stay focused. From the man himself, the legend himself, Shameen Adams, this is an episode not to forget. I will never forget it because I know exactly what I speak about. When I saw Shameen Adams in his prime, legendary world champion, and I can't wait to display this all over social media, and of course, Claremont TV, also TV, for example, everywhere, wherever we can. Shameen, thank you for everything.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. So everybody, there you have it. Body Fitness. There you go, Claremont Stadium on Main, Shameen Adams, champion, bodybuilder, personal trainer. Hook him up, hit him up, you're there to help and support basically with your health and fitness and well-being. This is Reemay Fitness channel on TV, coming real soon in the comfort of your own home. Thank you, and we are out. Peace out.